I want to thank you for joining me today. And before we get started, as always, all the messages that I release on the channel are my truth. That is exactly what it is, what it always will be, and that is my truth. Now, my truth consists of a bunch of experience that I've gained clarity from, which ultimately took me back to the real me, which is truth. Now, when I try to convince you that my truth is the gospel, however, my truth is the gospel for me, that does not make it the gospel for you, nor will I ever try to make it the gospel for you. But me being on this platform, I am simply placing breadcrumbs on a path that I've already walked. Now, if you find yourself on a similar path and you resonate with said breadcrumbs, you say, I like that. I want to follow that. And that's cool. If not, that's cool as well. My purpose is to assist those who are ready to get out of their own way. So, today I wanted to dive in to self-love, because this is very important, especially in today's society where you can see the lack of self-love. Unfortunately, a lot of people, if you go up to a lot of individuals, including myself in the past, if you would have asked me, hey, do you love yourself? I'd have looked at you like you're crazy. I'm like, of course I do. But it would have been a different type of self-love. I wasn't one with the true divine essence that I am today. It would have been more of the ego-based love. So more so looking into the pleasure side of things. I never was deep into the being selfish of it's all about me type things. No. But more so the desires. When you're in that ego-based self, there's no accountability. It's all about you. Gimme. You're more fragile. Everything's about competition. That's not true self-love. When you got a healthy self-love, true self-love is rooted in the divine. It's God, it's the universe, it's essence, it's the self. So the self is that. It's perfectly aligned. It's never changing. It's the inner authority. So the self is the witness. It observes everything. And if you're observing something, you're not attached to it. That is the self. That is the God essence that is within us all. But you have to tap into that essence. But like I said, it's within you. So if you're more so focused on a God that's located on the outside of you, you would never find that is what is on the inside of you. When you're tapping into that of which is on the inside of you, it's a whole totally different ball game. Once you tap into that, you're more giving, you're more loving, you're more into the service. You're going to have higher morals, higher standards. It's going to be about peace and love. That is tapping into the true self. So let's look at it, break it down for two ways. So you have what they call spirit and flesh, right? Can't deny those two things. Now, you're comprised of both spirit and flesh. So spirit is going to be that self-love, right? The all, the self. Then you have the flesh, which is who's the representative of the flesh? Your ego. So which one are you tapped more into? The spirit or the flesh? 1 Corinthians 6:19. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. That is the true essence of us, is that spirit that is within us. But because of that quote unquote ego that you believe you are, that you associate yourself with, you're separated from that. And you're more based in the worldly needs instead of being rooted in that self-love of knowing truly who you are. When I first got into self-love, things changed. Once I started tapping into that, I cared about how I was treating my body. Whereas before I was running to the clubs, running behind women, getting my drink on the weekends. That was the only time I drunk. But when I drunk on the weekends, I got it in. So, but other than that, I wasn't touching it. But it was still doing enough damage on the weekends because of the amount I was drinking. So that's not self-love. not taking care of yourself, not working out. How are you feeding the spirit? Are you reading anything? Nope. Are you meditating? Nope. That. When I started tapping into self-love, those things started appearing. I started meditating. I started grounding. I started sun gazing. Started hanging out in nature. I started to eat right. Let me read these books. Let me try some yoga. Let me try this. Man, look at these bumps on my face. These marks. Let me get a skincare routine. Dang, my back a little stiff. Let me get a massage. I would love to try to zone out. Let me try this float tank. All this is self-love. All these things are geared toward me coming embedded deeper and deeper into the self. And then as I started doing all these different things with self-love, what happened is you're able to see a lot clearer how individuals are treating you. Because now you're so aware of how you're treating yourself. What I found out is I was making all of this effort to treat myself better, improve myself. Then I would see, dang, you don't treat me good at all. Matter of fact, the only reason this relationship is still standing is because of the love I'm pouring into it. You don't pour anything into this. So then you're faced with another challenge. At least I was. Because when I noticed this, these were close friends. These were family members. So I had to decide what I was going to do. Because I was making all of this effort to loving the self more. But am I truly loving myself? Am I allowing someone to treat me a certain way that I don't agree with? That's not self-love. I was being more selfless during that time frame. And during that time frame, everybody else was benefiting and I was not. Because they were benefiting off of my energy and I was not. I was just giving it away. Not putting any focus on me at all. By the time I got to me, I had nothing left to give to me because I gave it all away. That's not self-love. It's the same thing when the mask falls down and you're in the airplane, you got your kid next to you. Why do they say if you love yourself and you love your kids, you need to put your mask on first. You put your kid's mask on, boom, you pass out and you die. Now your kids are alive, but who's going to take care of your kids? Like you would. I had to find out that, hey, if I truly love myself, I'm not going to stand for this. So once I started to speak out about these things, people still didn't respect that. So at that point, I'm not going to argue with you. I just remove myself. And that's what happened with a lot of relationships in my life. Because of the love that I have for the self now. I'm not worried about those ego beliefs. That doesn't drive me at all. 1 John 4:7-8. Dear friends, let us love one another. For love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Spirit, flesh. When I say spirit, as I said, that's going to be your God, your universe, the self, that which does not change. So if you're more so loving, like I said, you're comprised of both. Be in the world, but not of it. The Bible's giving you all the little pieces of how to put this little puzzle together. See, people hear all these scriptures, but they don't apply them every day in every single way. No, for me, there are no exceptions. Because when you start putting these different. Well, I listen to that, but not nah. See, you're not really going by the word. Then there are no exceptions. If I'm going to follow something to the letter, to the T, right? Not now. Let me explain this a little, because there are things in the Bible that were put there to try to trap you. Just like I said, you're gonna have to, when you're reading these scriptures, what does it say in your heart? What does it tell you? Because when I read a scripture, I get a translation. That's what that meant. What it means to me. I'm not gonna go to nobody else tell me what they got from it, because what I'm going to receive is going to be based on where I'm at. So form your own conclusions. That is a part of self-love. What is right for you? If you're worried about what this person think, what your mama and them gonna do, and your best friend and this, that, and the other, that's not self-love. That's you worried about somebody else. I did that for a very long time. Wanted to make sure everybody else was good. Then I had to realize, nobody's making sure I'm good. So if nobody's making sure I'm good, and I'm not even making sure I'm good because I'm worried about everybody else, how does that work? Amazing how when I started to focus on myself and pour self-love into myself, my health got better. I started feeling better. My skin got clearer, best shape of my health. The list goes on and on because I started pouring into myself. Not selfishly. Just pouring into the self. Tapping more and more into that of which I truly am. 1 Corinthians 13, if I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all the mysteries and all the knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains but do not have love, I am nothing. Love is everything. And you can see how quickly they're trying to remove that love from everything. Make everything pleasure-based. We see how that's going. Look at the dating market right now. Love has been totally removed from dating. When you hear about what people say they want, I rarely, if ever, hear love. How much money you got? I want this and that. I want. It's not self-love. Gimme. What you got for me? Not what I'm loving myself, you're loving yourself. Man, can you imagine if we came together, how much love we'd have between us? Not I love myself and you're selfishly loving yourself. So now when I come in the picture, I'm trying to uplift you, make sure you're good. You're just receiving, not giving anything back. That's selfish love, not self-love. 2 Timothy 3:2. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of the money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, holy. That is 2025. Right there at the tip, right there. Everybody's chasing the bag. How about you chase the love within yourself? Then all of that stuff comes afterwards. Because you can see how look at all your favorite stars. And the perfect example of this is going back to the ones who were popular back in the 90s and the 2000s. Now they're much older. Look at their lives now. When they were chasing the bags and chasing the fame and this, that, and the other, top of the world. Now those people are looking for love. They want love because they realize when it's all said and done, you ain't got nobody else. The money, you didn't got the fame. You're like, dang man, but something still. You're going to always be chasing until you come back to that love. And when I say love, it's that God essence that is within you. Until we find that, none of this garbage on the outside is going to fill you up. It will never fill you. But when you find that true self-love, you're going to have true self-respect for yourself. You're not going to allow others to do and say things to you that you allowed before. When you have that self-care for yourself, because you're putting all this effort in to taking care of yourself, making sure you're good, you're not going to let nobody mess that up for you. It's no longer about competition. You have full accountability for yourself. You're not worried about all your desires and this, that, and the other. Because you feel that completeness within. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, it's talked about. It's the Atman. The same thing. The true self, the divine self. That's the only thing that is real. Bhagavad Gita, 1866. Abandon all varieties of dharmas and simply surrender unto me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Once you tap into that which is within you, that God essence, all of those other things disappear. But as I said, you have to do it from within. There is no praying on the outside. If you do not go within and tap into that is within you, come one with that, that is the only true way you're going to liberate yourself. Be enlightened. You put your focus on the outside, you're going to get caught up with that of your outside representative, which is your ego, which is nothing more than a bunch of thoughts that you've agreed to that want to survive, so they keep you on a hook. Tap into which is real, which is true. And that is the self. That is self-love. Not selfish love, self-love. I'm going to leave that there. And as always, if you got anything out of this message, actually like, subscribe, and I will definitely check you in the next one.